Hello everyone, welcome to our podcast series Sci-RO Tells, an avenue of Sci-RO to feature STEM professional for the India to share their story with our members. I am Sonam Pandey, a scientist, research development office at Center for Stem Cell, a unit of INSTEM Bangalore Christian Medical College campus, Vellore, Tamil Nadu, India, and an active member of the current Sci-RO leadership team. Today, I will be hosting the first episode of Story in Sci-RO Tells for the year 2025 along with my teammate Sudeshna Manan. Over to you, Sudeshna.
Hi everyone, I'm Sudeshna Manna. I am a postdoctoral fellow at Helmholtz Institute for RNA-based infection research called HIRI in Uzburg, Germany, and an active volunteer with the Sci-ROI team.
Thank you, Sudeshna. So, guys, today we have an exciting episode of BioE3 Startup Chronicles, where we will explore the groundbreaking innovation in biotechnology, economy, environment, and employment. Today, we have a distinguished guest with us, Dr. Anand Bhadalkar. Dr. Bhadalkar is the director of Savli Technology and the Business Incubator, Department of Science and Technology, Government of Gujarat, a premier incubator fostering deep tech startup and the driven industrial innovation. With the wealth of experience in technology incubation, startup mentorship, and the policy development, he has given instrumental in transforming research-driven ideas into scale-up businesses. His expertise span strategies innovation, funding facilitation, and the ecosystem development, making him a key figure in the India's biotech and deep tech startup landscape. Under his leadership, STBI has supported numerous early ventures in biotechnology, pharmaceuticals, engineering, and the beyond. In today's episode, we will discuss India's evolving biotech startup ecosystem, the challenges and the opportunity for deep tech venture, and how STBI is shaping the future of BioE3, that is biotechnology for economy, environment, and employment. Dr. Bhadalkar, it's a pleasure to have you on today's podcast. Welcome, Dr. Anand Bhadalkar.
Thank you so much, and it is my pleasure indeed to be here. And thank you for the generous introduction, Dr. Sonam and Dr. Sudeshna.
Yeah. So with this, we will start our podcast series. So first question for my audience: can you start by telling us about your professional journey in the innovation and startup ecosystem?
Well, I passed out my master's from MS University Baroda and joined research at the same place, and later lecturership at the same place while working towards my PhD. And in 2004, while I had still not submitted my thesis, I had this opportunity to join Gujarat State Biotechnology Mission under the aegis of Department of Science and Technology, Government of Gujarat. Um, of course, later I could academically accomplish my thesis submission, PhD, and an MBA in marketing and an MBA in finance. But the journey with Gujarat State Biotechnology Mission, which is a nodal agency for overall development of biotechnology in the state of Gujarat, was very exciting. And uh, those 2021 years in biotechnology mission have been really exciting, as we could work towards a number of things, deepening our impact into research and development, deepening our impact into human resource development, and also business development, as also forming newer institutions like Gujarat Biotech Research Center, Gujarat Biotech University, and the Savli Technology and Business Incubator that now I am heading, or I am on full time deputation as the director of this organization.
Thank you for sharing this journey with us. So, with this, I have a one more question which is related to this leadership. So, what inspired you to take on the role of director at Saudi Technology and the Business Incubator?
So, while I was an officer with Gujarat State Biotechnology Mission, Joint Director Business Development, we were working towards facilitating businesses in the field of biotechnology. And this was being done through a number of approaches, one of them being uh, uh, providing a industrial infrastructure in terms of a biotech park at a location that is very welcome, as in presence of other knowledge hubs or knowledge spaces like universities, research organizations, and hence near Vadodara. So while the biotech park was coming up in Savli, and we were also working towards state incentive policy, we were working towards a biotech venture fund. We realized that the companies that were coming to the biotech park, they needed uh, a technology business incubator. So as a backward integration to our biotech park and as a forward integration to our entrepreneurship development programs, inclusive of biotechnopreneur program, we realized that there was a need of a technology business incubator. So that is how we started on an experimental mode. We took up some space in an already existing building, never utilized building that was in very close proximity of biotech park, and with financial support of BIRAP to be more correct. It was still a division under Department of Biotechnology, Government of India, and we started with something experimentally. But in first 2 years, we realized 2 3 years that there was indeed a lot of demand, and we could impact, and we could help some number of wanting to be entrepreneurs to start with their own startups. Now, this was something that really encouraged the state government, and they further supported us. We were allowed to seek further support from Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, under a particular NITI TBI program. Now, this is where Government of India, Department of Science and Technology insisted that it should not be a just a small project under the biotechnology mission, but it should rather be institutionalized as a separate society or a separate organization or a separate Section 8 company. So we went back, we talked to state government, and state government approved formation of a government society by the name Savli Technology and Business Incubator. Since I was the founding coordinator of this place, I was asked to take up the role of the director of this organization and further provide leadership to this initiative, which primarily is about nurturing tech-driven startups. And in the process, we could also slightly modify the core biotech nature of this incubator to slightly technology agnostic nature. And now this is sort of so now we have grown beyond biotech, and now we also support other uh, startups, but necessarily they have to have good amount of technology component in it. I hope I'm able to give you uh, a window into how all of these things developed over a period of time. Dr.
Yeah,
Sonam.
yes, really, this is the very good initiative by the government of Gujarat as well as the government of India. Since STBI play a crucial role in the supporting of a startup, can you also give an overview of its mission and key focus area?
So, um, uh, all tech driven startups basically start with uh, ideation. And for any researcher uh, to work on an idea in a university or a research organization, they may find some number of constraints, or for that matter, even a grassroots innovator. When I say grassroots innovator, not necessarily someone who would have studied science or who is practicing science, but even for him or her to try out, there were hitherto no laboratories in public spaces. So this is where STBI came in to provide furnished and equipped laboratories in public domain, which is government supported, which are available on mm, almost negligible cost or very little concessional cost fees. And then in addition to the scientific infrastructure or instrumentation that is available, there is a huge amount of mentoring available, there is huge amount of networking available, there is huge amount of connections made to be for technical experts, regulatory experts, IP experts, taxation, or uh, funding investors, whatever, or contract manufacturers, etc., etc. So all of these are linked up over here, and this is how we are. So in this sense, the vision of STBI is to provide uh, or contribute to the knowledge economy of the state, and through that to the knowledge economy of the nation, by supporting or by nurturing technology driven startups.
So, right now in the introduction, we have so far great points covered up. So now, Sudeshna, I know you have also some insightful question lined up. So over to you, Sudeshna, for a few of your questions.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Bhadalkar, for sharing your journey and telling us about STBI. So, the BioE3 initiative from Government of India has been a game changer for Indian startups. So, in your view, how has it impacted the startup ecosystem in India?
Yeah.
So that's a very interesting question, and uh, I would like to, before I give you an answer to this, I want you to realize that BioE3 has come at such an opportune moment. Uh, the state governments like Gujarat and some others have already been working towards promoting biotech entrepreneurship for 10 to 15 years. Uh, BIRAC had also been almost 10 years plus that BIRAC had been born um, post the GATT regime uh, in 2005. You had CSIR coming up with NIMITLI programs, and then through that, the SBIRI program or BIG was born somewhere much later after that, but it had been almost 10 years of BIG and some of these. This had given rise to a large number of startups who had already started impacting, who had come up with very interesting, very innovative projects. Now it was important that we increase the manufacturing capabilities of the nation, and this is where BioE3 or a biomanufacturing hubs and Mulankur as a concept uh, happens to be important. So this is where now our startups can scale up their programs, can scale up their activities, and showcase that they will not only be able to demonstrate innovative uh, outcomes, but also deliver this at a scale to impact huge economies like that of India or even abroad. This is the importance of BioE3 in my opinion.
It's good to know about this government initiative. Can you tell more details? Like, what do you think are the key challenges that Indian startups, especially in deep tech and manufacturing, face today?
So let me explain this with an example. Uh, Here is a startup who has shown, uh, or who has come up with a protein alternative for BSA, for bovine serum albumin, and this is a lab generated uh, kind of a protein, which actually means you don't need to sacrifice calves anymore for this purpose, and it could be through a GM strain you are producing this BSA, or uh, now scaling this up uh, in BioE3 or biomanufacturing becomes important to be able to, unless you are able to provide this solution which is cruelty free protein at the same economic at the same economics, okay, at the same cost as is available as the BSA that is available in the market, it will not be accepted by the market. This is where scaling the component, scaling your protein, scaling whatever you are doing is important, and making it available, affordable, or if not cheaper than what is available in the market, at least at the same cost, is important. So this is what has been enabled by BioE3, and the same to do with probiotics. If unless you are able to give more effective products at more affordable prices, and through a process that is much more greener, that that is how innovation is happening. So innovation is happening in three levels. One is uh, more efficient processes, efficient in terms of more output against less input, or cleaner or greener processes, or cruelty free processes, number one. Number two, more affordable. And number three is better or quality, I mean output of better quality or better yield. And this at scalable level is possible through BioE3. I hope I have been able to answer you, Dr. Sudeshna.
Yeah, sure, sure. So, understanding the challenges in technology development and manufacturing, as a director of STBI, how do you see the role of incubators like STBI in addressing these challenges?
Oh, wow, that is a very interesting question. And uh, we need to understand the entire value chain of innovation and innovation commercialization. So, when an innovative observation, um, when a postdoc observes something interesting and wants to work onto it, you should be able to provide him or her with uh, all the resources that are needed for that purpose. Sometimes they could be those kind of sophisticated labs, like clean rooms areas, or maybe you know cell culture laboratories, or costly instruments or costly consumables. Then you need to provide him with mentoring, so that he or she is able to technically validate the concept uh, against the gold or the diamond standards in the ecosystem. Then comes the next stage of scale up, and obviously different types of trials, may it be clinical trials or field trials, or so on and so forth. So an incubator who's incubating a project needs to be able to provide across the life cycle of this innovation, which means right from the idea stage, providing all the scientific infrastructure and instrumentation or consumables to the startups, to the innovator at an opportune stage. If it needs to be converted into a startup, see, an innovator may want to commercialize the project himself or herself, which is when he or she might need to form a startup. Or sometimes he or she may just want to out license the technology, or which is very often in common language called as technology transfer. May just out license the technology, and the researcher will go back in his research laboratory and will continue doing his research. So in either cases, either he is commercializing the project himself, or he is giving it off to someone else for commercialization. You need to validate the technology first, and for that purpose the incubator again needs to provide connections to be able to provide technology validations, or be able to undertake those kind of testings, and show uh, the performance of this of the research outcome against gold standards or diamond standards uh, of the industry. And then the The third last component is connections with investors in case the candidate wants to commercialize the project himself or herself, or be able to help towards tech transfer. So, this is where I think an incubator plays a role across the life cycle, being able to provide uh, you know end-to-end solution for innovation commercialization.
Thank you, Dr. Bhadalkar, for giving us such detailed information. I believe it will be very helpful for our listener. And also, I believe that incubators centers like STBI play a crucial role in the success journey of a startup. So, to encourage our listener, can you share a notable success story of a startup that was incubated at STBI and is now making a significant impact in the industry?
Uh, okay, so though it is a bit early, but then because in the previous example, uh, or in the previous life cycle, I did mention about a researcher. So let me start with this example um, of a researcher, uh, of an Indian researcher who was in Singapore, who had an interesting observation uh, in his mind. And what he did was he took up Ramlinga Swami Fellow to come back to India and joined one university. While he was still in the university and working on different research projects, in his mind he had uh, those thoughts of um, exploring the observation that he had. Uh, so what he did was he came to, or we reached out to him, asking him to try out his idea in the incubator. He was joined by some other collaborators, and together they went on to try out. Initially hired the plant tissue culture facility at STBI, and they tried out. When they tried out, uh, the concept worked. I am sorry, I'll not be able to give you exact details because the matter is still pending for patent. But because this is an example of international scientists wanting to come back to India, form a startup here, I thought it will be interesting. Let me go ahead and explain what he or she did here. So they went on to show, uh, or the let me also tell you that the observation was from a fungal species. They could observe formation of a phytohormone which could increase the number of tubers. So they identified the gene. They tried putting it first into different bacterial systems and eukaryotic systems. Uh, uh, I mean yeast systems. When that and they also parallelly tried out with lower plant systems, and they found out that the one with lower plant systems worked out really well, and which is where they took up our plant tissue culture facility, scaled it up, and they had this extracellular substance created in a large quantity. This is where we tried helping them for field trials. Because we are part of the state government, we could talk to our sister department in agriculture ministry, and uh, we arranged for some field trials. And again, there we got some excellent results in field, and this helped us now to scale it up and try multi uh, multi trials in different geographical conditions and so on and so forth. So this is where uh, we have been able to help these kind of startups. Let me give you yet another example. uh, so the second example, because patents are all awarded, uh, yeah, and the product is commercialized, I shall also be able to share names. So the second example, let me give you, of pragmatic healthcare solutions. And uh, the co-founders are Dr. Shantini Pramanik, Anirban Palit, and Palna Patel and Dr. Bhagirath Patel. So these are three, four co-founders, a very interesting team, one with interesting background into marketing, one a hardcore biochemistry researcher, third is a lawyer and social worker, and fourth is a medical professional, a doctor, practicing doctor. These four came together to work onto a problem of cervical cancer. Now we know that cervical cancer um, is amongst the top three cancers impacting women, and interestingly, uh, it is in a pre-cancer stage for at least 5 to 15 years, which means that before the malignancy sets in, you have close to at least 5 years, sometimes up to 15 years, to be able to detect. Then why are we not able to detect? Because the test, uh, or the sampling is rather too cumbersome. It involves pap smear test, which uh, even urban women find it too awkward or cumbersome to go to, and a large number of laboratories may not even have facilities uh, where women are given that kind of a privacy to be able to take the sample correctly. So what they did was they are working on two projects at a time. The first project uh, is being able to create a medical device wherein one can go for self sampling of uh, uh, of the cervical sample in the privacy of one's own home, and pack it into a vial and send it across. The second project they are working on is a molecular diagnostic test, which is a lateral flow based test for HPV, human papilloma virus. But the first component, which is a med device, which is a class B med device, just trying to um, uh, where one can take one's own sample. Now this, uh, we were able to help them to be able to take not only test license, and then the product uh, got approval, but now they also have a commercial license. They have license for commercial production of this self sampling kit from the incubator. Because we are located in an industrial estate, uh, we are able to help them to scale it up and also manufacture at industrial scale, and create this kind of impact. So these are some number of examples. These are, so one from agriculture and one from healthcare, where these are the two main sectors that I thought I should bring to your notice. Yes, please.
So, those are very interesting stories, and perhaps it is very encouraging for all the researchers who want to start their entrepreneurship journey. So, you cover some of the direction or aspect of it, but I'd like to know more. What are some unique innovations, directions emerging from India startups that excite you the most?
Um, Med devices is certainly one of the most important ones. The world is growing older, and geriatric populations are on rise, and I think geriatric assisting uh, devices are also very much needed. But so this again falls under the same medical devices. And the second important thing that I can think of is bio AI. Bio AI is emerging again very interestingly. We have a few startups in this space, um, and thermography based uh, devices which communicate on at the back end with a cloud, and where you have LLMs, and being able to give back uh, you know precise, accurate findings is certainly a very important thing. So these two are most important ones. But then, of course, agriculture or environment is again equally important, and being able to contribute towards cleaner, and greener environment is important. So these are some number of thrust areas that that I would suggest. But then obviously there are lots of other. For example, if you are able to make some industrial enzymes at cheaper cost, or which are much more uh, uh, resilient, I think there is huge market for it. So effectively, if you are able to provide a solution to an existing problem, I think that's the thing, and not necessarily uh, that you should be in a specific thrust area.
Okay, so Dr. Bhadalkar, how do you measure the success of an incubator and what kind of impact do you aim to create?
Oh, again, thank you for this interesting question. How do we measure uh, success of an incubator? The success of an incubator, uh, in fact, uh, is by the impact it makes, by the amount of startups, both in terms of numbers and also the quality of help that it is able to provide. I think an incubator that is being able to provide support across the life cycle of an innovation commercialization. For example, an incubator which is able to help an innovator ideate but is not able to take it forward is only help partly provided. And hence, I think an incubator is successful only when it is able to ensure uh, that an innovator that has come to him, that has come to an incubator, is helped across the life cycle of the innovation commercialization, right from ideation to tech validation to uh, various field trials or clinical trials or whatever, and till scaling up. Unless uh, this is done, an incubator, uh, even if an incubator is not doing all of it by himself, uh, it should be possible for incubator mm, to connect, to collaborate with other players in the field, and ensure that an innovator is helped throughout the life cycle. So that is my concept, or that is my matrix of of success of an incubator. I hope I was able to answer you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for all your insights. Dr. Sonam now would like to ask you a few questions.
Yes, please.
So already Dr. Bhadalkar shared two major story of STBI. So we can understand then how many challenges are coming and how they will rectify that challenges will come on the prototype. So on the phase of that prototype, I have a next question, that how does STBI and other incubators, you can also take example of others, because I know you've also visited so many incubators, so that's why I'm mentioning here the other incubators, help the startup transition from prototypes to large scale manufacturing.
Yeah, that's uh, that's very true. That's very true. In fact, not only sit on boards of a large number of incubators, but I also sit on committees of industries department and education department. Both of them support a large number of incubators, and so this way, uh, I will be able to provide this information. I also sit on a central government incubator, uh, which IRMA, which works on rural management or on a cooperative. It is soon to be converted into a university. And through all of this, I want to tell you that there is a beautiful network of incubators right now in India. Even if you are looking at only rural economy, you are looking only at, for example, because you have asked for examples, let me take an example of this small startup which started. See, the people who rear donkeys in India are specific tribes. Um, who are so sidelined in society that they do not fall. These are laborers at certain real estate sites or so on, and these are the ones who rear donkeys. So this startup, what have they done is they have reached out to these tribes, and uh, they have a buyback arrangement for the milk that you get from donkeys. And using this milk, they have come up with some uh, from beauty products, some soaps that are used in cosmetics and so on. And a part of this benefit goes back to these laborers who breed donkeys. So this is how the 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 social impact angle is taken care of, and these startups are striving. I'll now move the genre and move to some other startups, may it be engineering startups. So there is this startup who wanted to work onto replacing plastic water bottles, uh, especially at places like conferences, like meetings, like theaters, or like pilgrimage sites, or so on, or eco-sensitive sites. So they wanted to replace plastic water bottles. So what they did was the glass water bottles. See, where a consumer does not need to take away the bottle. See, it is cumbersome to carry glass water bottles when you are traveling. लेकिन अगर आप if you are having the water maybe in a conference site or in an eco-sensitive tourism spot, then you can use the water bottle there, and then at the next place you can deposit it back. So they first piloted it at a ecotourism site in Gujarat called as Padam Dungri. But what they did next was they converted Tirumala, the Tirupati Tirumala temple area, entirely. They have converted it into plastic water bottle free environment. How have they done that? They have put up their plant. They have these glass water bottles being provided, interestingly, at the cost of plastic water bottles. So a consumer can take up a water bottle from anywhere at 50 rupees. The cost today in 2025, the cost is at 50 rupees. Consume the water, and when he returns the water bottle to any shop in Tirumala, then he gets 30 rupees return, which means that the cost is 20 rupees for water bottle. Now this actually is an engineering marvel. How did he do that? He has an entire patented um, uh, kind of a machine with assembly line and so on and so forth, a robotic arm that cleans up. There is RFID sensors that will read the sensors that are put up, and each water bottle is cleaned thoroughly with detergent and with hot water. And if the bottle is has not been thoroughly cleaned, you have sensors that will sense it. The water bottle is sidelined, it is not allowed to be filled with water. Okay, now this kind of a machine actually is, or this patented technology uh, is for liquid filling machines. So it could be, this water bottles can be uh, further augmented with certain extracts like tulsi extract or ginger extracts or so on and so forth, as per the season, pudina, mint, or whatever. And that way you can have better health of people. So along with health, you are also looking at environment in this form. Let me give you last one more example, and that is of a very interesting uh, candidate from MIT who chose Gujarat as a place to work. And this and I have one more example in mind. So yes, but let me first finish this one. Uh, so Christian Kagetsu passed out from MIT, and she came to Gujarat, and she partnered with Tarun Bothra here, and they came up with a very interesting proposition. Now Gujarat, this area happens to be um, one of the major banana growing areas. So, uh, uh, banana plantation, as you are aware, once the fruit is taken up, the plant. So these are tissue culture plants, okay, and the pseudo stem that is left, the next season the amount of fruit that comes on that is reduced to hardly 10%. So it is not economically viable. So the best thing is you remove off all the pseudo stem, सारा stems निकाल दीजिए, and you put in new plants the next year. Okay, when you do that, there is huge amount of stem that is removed off from the fields, and because it has huge amount of water content, you cannot even burn it off. So there is a problem of disposal of this pseudostem. So what they did was they took this pseudostem, they uh, they developed an enzymatic process by which they could treat the fibers from this pseudostem, and they made some very interesting products like diapers and sanitary napkins out of it, uh, high absorbent, thereby replacing the polymers that go in both sanitary napkins and diapers, which have a huge calcitrant value. So here they are addressing a problem of disposal of banana pseudostem. They are also addressing a problem of uh, not being able to biodegrade uh, polymers from sanitary napkins and diapers, and they could make these products with help of women from rural background, mostly disabled, or uh, which have been चाहे चाहे अबला हो चाहे अशक्त हैं. So taking these kind of women, they have been able to provide livelihood to these people, and thereby uh, they have made the sanitary napkins, which are or diapers, which are high premium products, which go into uh, a very high premium market, and that is how they have made a very large impact.
So my next question: how important in intellectual property protection for the startup, and what role does it play in the making India a global innovation hub?
Uh, Intellectual property, of course, is very important, and India happens to be an important area or a geography, because it is easier and it is cheaper to innovate in India. The cost for innovation, the cost for raw materials, the cost for scientific infrastructure, as well as the cost for manpower, everything is much lower than most of the developed economies, may it be West, may it be Europe, may it be Australia, or whatever. So this is where I think India has a benefit. So I will give you an example which I was referring to in the previous question, and that was about this very interesting couple uh, uh, who have come up with a startup called as Zero Cow. So what they have done is a particular breed of Indian cow, which is a Gir Kankreji cow, which gives A2 quality of milk. So they were able to identify the gene. Uh, in fact, it was well known, but what they did was they have subcloned it uh, into known or generally regarded as safe microorganisms, and they have overproduced the A2 milk protein in this bacteria, by virtue of which now you are able to just overproduce the A2 casein protein in bacteria in bioreactors without need of cattle, and that circumvents entire, no grasslands needed, no cow needed, no cow sheds needed, and this can be done at large quantity in factories in bioreactors under a patented technology. So this is the beauty of knowledge driven or IP driven uh, businesses. I hope I have been able to answer you there.
Yeah, definitely. So as of now, we heard the all story behind the success and how a startup is helping. But now we are come to the actually government policy funding and future. So let's keep the momentum going on. And now I would like to request Sudeshna, why you not do not to take the over from here.
Sure, Sonam. To ask about government policies, what are some key government schemes and funding opportunities that startups should be aware of? And how can startup most effectively navigate the regulatory and compliance landscape in India?
Yeah, so this is something that will attract a podcast in itself, a dedicated podcast in itself. But what I will do is I'll quickly tell you that they can reach out to especially some clinics, like one of the clinic that we host in STBI called as Funding Clinic, which helps innovators to navigate in this maze of the kind of government schemes that are there. Further, I will like to tell you that across the life cycle of innovation commercialization, even if you have some ideas and you want to try that, there is a prism scheme of Government of India Department of Scientific and Industrial Research, which offers something as little as from 2 lakhs to 10 lakhs to 20 lakhs for this purpose. There are various SSIP or students startup and innovation support schemes of Government of Gujarat which support you at that stage. Beyond that, we have some schemes like Atmanirbhar Gujarat Fellowship for students who are looking to not take up placements after your graduation or post graduation or PhD, and are looking forward to work towards startup. So there are these schemes like Atmanirbhar Gujarat Fellowship, which support you with both innovation grant as well as fellowship for some period of time. Similarly, there are Government of India schemes like Entrepreneur in Residence, Nidhi Entrepreneur in Residence, or Nidhi Prayas, which give you either innovation grant or fellowship. There is a Sparsh fellowship, especially if you are working on uh, a project of social impact. Then you have this Sparsh fellowship under BIRAC, where you can get both innovation grant and fellowship. Now, taking the leap further is POC kind of projects. So BIG, Biotechnology Ignition Grant, is one of the most important ones. There are, of course, other schemes as well, uh, through which you get supported. There are a large number of seed funding mechanisms that are available. One of them over there is Startup India Seed Fund, one category where you get grant up to rupees 20 lakhs for POC related project. Now I will move to the next stage, and that is seed funding. So you have Nidhi Seed Fund, you have Byrac Seed Fund, you have Startup India Seed Fund, uh, who offer you support at different formats, which means some of them could be equity format, some of them could be in future equity, or in compulsorily convertible into debt, or optionally convertible into debt, or so on and so forth. Beyond which, you have some number of schemes like uh, SBIRI or BIPP, which help you for scaling up. अच्छा, उसके पहले, before that, you have a stage of trials, clinical trials or field trials. So there is a particular category of BIPP which help you at that stage. And beyond that, you also have ACE funds, LEAP funds of BIRAC, and so many number of other mechanisms through which you find support. So right now, I think India, you have so many number of schemes, and so many I have missed out on to Mighty's Genesis or so on. ICAR has so many number of funds, uh, a large number of, so funding scenario is absolutely fantastic right now in India.
Thank you, Dr. Bhadalkar. I'm sure all the information you provided will be very helpful for our listener. Do you see more collaborations between academia, industry, and startups happening in India? If yes, how is it happening?
Okay, so the collaboration between industry, academia, and startup is not only uh, uh, has started happening, but it is very much needed. In fact, the problems of today need solutions collaboratively by academia, by startups, because an academia is not able to gaze the amount of commercial viability, how one should look at scalability, and how one should look at being able to have returns on the investments, which is where startups are very good at. Now, if we look at historically, how many solutions uh, provided by academia have been able to be taken up by industry in general, or how many industry identified problem statements have been able to be um, worked upon by academia? Not many. This is why the reason is because startups have not been involved. And this is where I think that industry, academia, and startup, this kind of a triple helix being involved is going to be very important. And uh, and I think newer and newer schemes should come up, uh, both in state government as well as central government, to support this triple helix. Thank you, Sudeshna, for the
Uh,
question.
Thank you, Dr. Bhadalkar. With that, we come to the point of future visions, and Dr. Sonam would like to ask few questions.
Yes,
Thank you,
please.
Sudeshna. So, sir, as we know that we are come to the point end of this podcast. So, there is a advice and future vision is necessary. So, as SciRO strive to bridge the gap between the STM professional worldwide and emerging opportunity in India. So, what advice would you offer to young entrepreneurs returning to India and embarking on their journey in the biomanufacturing movement?
Uh, I must thank you for this question. This is an excellent question. And in the current geopolitical situation, I think uh, and India is emerging. The startup scenario in India is at its uh, record highest. This is a question that I will love to answer. So I will want to appeal to all of my friends, STEM friends across all economies, all different countries in the world, to uh, to consider. Uh, if you want to return to India, this is the best time. Even if you do not want to return to India, but it is important to be involved with projects in India, because India, things are happening at a never before speed, never before impact, beautifully happening right now. uh, and I will substantiate this. So uh, I did talk to you about the various funding schemes. I did talk to you, for example, in India, we have in excess of 1,000 incubators now. Uh, at least in Ahmedabad alone, I know of 18 to 20 incubators. All over Gujarat, we have close to 50 to 60 incubators, if not more. Now, this is what makes, uh, and there are sector specific incubators. We have food technology specific incubator, you have biotech related incubator, you have pharma related incubator, you have fashion related incubator. You name, and uh, automobile, you have incubator, you have sector specific incubators. This is what makes things more interesting. Third thing, industry has become much more open, and the both the new education policy are now, it is warranting educational organizations to send their students as interns into industry and industry professionals. So industry academia startup divide is decreasing, and that makes it much more interesting. However, I will also want to appeal to all of our friends, STEM friends all over the world. Even if you do not want to return, uh, try and help us. For example, there are a large number of startups from India who might want to explore your economies, your markets, and they can themselves not come there. Possibly you can be their window, you can help them, you can help, uh, you can give technical guidance, you can give scientific guidance, you can give regulatory guidance in those economies. You can partner with them, you can become one of their co-founders in your economies, and can take their projects ahead. I can tell you, one of our startup JC Ortho Hill and Alacris have explored 40 different countries. And how have they done that? They have identified friends. So he has identified a friend in Houston, and who's helping them across MD Anderson and a large number of organizations there, and so on and so forth. So you could play a role like this. And lastly, whatever amount of savings, whatever amount of investments you are making, maybe a small part of that you might want to do it into startups. It is high risk, but the gain is also high, isn't it? So now, with small amount of money that you might want to risk into startups, possibly this when you invest into a startup in India, okay, the same amount of fund, possibly you might be able to go only from A to B or B to C in a developed economy. But in a developing economy like India, you might be able to go from A to B to C to D to E, maybe a number of more steps here. Or so over here you might be able to do more number of trials, more phases of trials, or possibly more validation or more scale up in India, which is what could be interesting. So that might also attract startups in other economies, because I know that the funding is drying up into science organizations and science startups in developed economies, both in US, Canada, or Europe. And I think they might be interested in exploring India. So, on the whole, I appeal to all STEM friends all over the world to come collaborate with us in India.
It's a nice advice, sir. So, if suppose people are want to start their startups as an entrepreneur, so what quality and skill do you think they are essential for the startup founder to succeed in today's competitive landscape? And second thing, also after next 5 to 10 years, what exercise do you want most about the future ecosystem, India startup ecosystem next 5 to 10 years here?
So, two questions there. The first one is quality. I think because STEM uh, friends have been possibly uh, researchers at most of the time, so I don't think I need to stress on the regular qualities out there. But being open to the changing environments, and being uh, agile to be able to modify yourselves as per the business environment is, I think, one of the most important conditions. Second, being able to identify a business opportunity is second important aspect that I think. And the regular ones, but somehow researchers uh, have not been able to do well in the third quality, and that is team building, because researchers have been in silos trying to work, at least in Indian context it is true, but I'm sure that worldwide STEM researchers do better in building teams. So these are the few qualities that I must mention if you want to try out startups in India. uh, Sonam, can you please help me with the second part of the question?
Yeah,
I
yeah. Yes, yes, why not? So, my final question as an advice on the future vision, that where do you see India's startup ecosystem in the next 5 10 years, and what excites you to the most about the future?
Yes. So this component, we have now AMR innovators from India coming up, you know, or being featured in the world's top few. We also have marine biotech innovative startups now being ranking in the world's top few. And the same thing exists for med devices and so on. Most affordable, uh, quality med devices being made by Indian startups. The point out there is the next few years are extremely exciting, and in next 5 10 years I get to see that India not only being able to provide solutions for India, but also for the other developing countries all over the globe. So I am appealing all of you to collaborate with India, with Indian startups here, with us here, and impact the world all over, because this is what we can do with better economies, with better quality of infrastructure now available, and innovation. We will be able to do what no one has been able to do elsewhere, because of the power of economy and talent, both in India. Thank you so much. I
So
hope that was.
yeah, it cover up my all your advice and the future vision of India. So with this, I would like to again tell to Sudeshna to take over this session and wrap up and closing for podcast.
Thank you, Sonam. Dr. Bhadalkar, thank you for sharing such valuable insights. Before we wrap up, is there any message you would like to share with aspiring entrepreneurs and the Sci-ROI community?
uh, I think I have whatever I wanted to talk to you about the STEM community all over. I have mentioned that, but I have a message for the Skyroy community, and that is, you are doing fantastic work. Please continue doing this. This, uh, one podcast may not suffice. We might need to. You might need to reach out to more number of my friends, and then make sure that you reach out to all corners of the world, all over the STEM professionals, all over, especially people of Indian diaspora, and excite them that, see, from India, you can create both. You can create impact as well as both commercial impact and social impact, and you have talent available and best infrastructure available, uh, at affordable cost, at affordable prices. And so this is the time to look at India. Thank you so much.
Uh, Thank you, sir, for all your valuable words and insights. So, with this, we'll come to the end of our conversation. On behalf of Sai ROI, I sincerely thank you for taking the time to share your valuable insight and experiences. Your thoughts on innovation, entrepreneurship, and India's startup ecosystem have been truly inspiring. I'm sure your words will guide many aspiring entrepreneurs and encourage others to start their own journey. Thank you once again for being with us. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you, sir.